we have a book.
We have a book on this,
parables, metaphors, isms. The power of and is probably a big one for me. I don't know if you guys have seen our CEO, Simon, actually did a TED Talk on the power of and. For me, what it means is collaboration and inclusivity, and also probably relentlessness that I identify with. I think there's just these false dichotomies that things that are seemingly opposite cannot coexist. It's either this or it's that. And I don't really come from the world of that. I don't believe in that. I like to surround myself with people who also don't believe in it. I think that when you deal with people, there's so much gray. You know, this idea of things being black and white it's just not true, for me at least. And I think that being able to really value someone's individual identity and also shared belonging, being able to be at a job where it's about purpose and also profit, right? Like these things that seem like they're opposite, they can actually coexist. And I think that when we find the places where you can do both things, that's actually where the magic is. Where two people come into my office and are like, I think this, which one is it? And I'm like, it's kind of both, you know? And when you can find the collaborative spot, that's really where the most innovation, I think, comes from.
I think in the absence of having clearly defined values and a mission right now, when we are interviewing people or talking to our teammates, coaching and counseling, we do bring up a lot of these isms. And the power of the and is a really powerful one because it is about taking the two poles and finding a way to stitch them together. And even now when we are talking about, hey, how is this teammate doing? Where do they kind of sit on the team? What are their strengths, right? We'll talk about things like, well, are they micro or macro? Where do they sit on that scale? You know, are they more shiny and fun? Or are they a little bit more polished, a little more fine dining, right? Is COTE a Michelin-starred restaurant? Are we fine dining or are we fun dining? We do 450 covers a night. That doesn't make any sense. But as Simon like I said, if it were easy, everyone would do it, right? But here we all are, like all struggling, all trying to deal with the same thing. My favorite ism lately, as we talk about the next 10 months in building 4 new restaurants, is something that Simon shared with me recently. He's like, you know, I'm gonna ask you guys this question and I hope that you guys look at me as dumbly as I stared back at him. He was like, Amy, what is the best fertilizer for a tree?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Kevin's laughing because he probably knows.
Yeah.
The best fertilizer for a tree is a farmer's footsteps. It's your presence. It's the way that you are stomping down the earth, turning things up, and really being involved with your team, right? And what this really was like a Simon parable for was no tree dies at GHM. It was a way for him to articulate that our service and our hospitality has to remain that level of detail-oriented no matter how big that we got. And it didn't matter what kind of projects we were running. At the end of the day, the customers in our restaurant, the business happens in the restaurant. And so this has now become no tree dies at GHM, is our way of speaking to our floor managers. Hey, it really is that important that you touch every single table. You're not just here to touch a table if something goes wrong. You're not just here to touch a table if they're really great. Even the okay tables, right? You have to touch all the tables, even the ones that are just okay, and figure out why they're just okay. How do we make them exceptionally, exceedingly happy? And that's the only way we're going to be able to scale this thing without diluting it. And I think with no tree dies at GHM, it fundamentally just boils down to relationships. And so if we're able to kind of carry that ism with us, I think that it won't be easy, but we'll figure out how to scale this thing without losing a whole lot of who we are.